Well, welcome back to another episode of Bowhunt or Die. For those of you who've been finally waiting for this cold spell, well, if you still have a buck tag or a doe tag in your pocket, you still may get lucky here in the remaining days.
Yeah, late season action is definitely heating up.
Finally.
Dustin, who we're actually about to watch hunt out in Wyoming, is here in Illinois right now and actually shot a great buck last night. He was out hunting with Clinton, and the deer were definitely hitting the food plot. So, I mean, if you guys got a tag, now is the time when you want to get out there and chase those late season deer.
You know, Justin, I'm sitting there looking at, I mean, are you starting to copy my hairdo or what's going on here? I mean, I don't know if anyone else is noticing this in this episode.
I need a little bit more gray in there to copy your do.
Oh, whoa.
Yours is shorter and spikier.
Well,
mine's growing out longer. It's getting there.
I think he's starting to copy my hairdo, just for the record.
Well, I'll start wearing my glasses again, too.
Well, you may get more luck. Hey, with that being said, let's jump in a stand right now with Dustin and his wife, Jen, to see how they do.
Well, it is November 1st. In Wyoming, we like to wait till the rut starts to hang tree stands. But anyway, Jen and I are headed out. We're going to go down into this big river bottom. And the river kind of snakes through there. Some tillable alfalfa fields and stuff around the edges. And then a bunch of big stands of cottonwoods and willows. So we're going to go hang some stands in there. I've been seeing a lot of really good deer. All right, well, here it is, our first lone wolf set. We got a camera stand and a shooter stand, so hopefully the deer in the mornings will be coming this way through the bedding area. We got trails on both sides.
All right, we got our stands hung, our lanes trimmed out, so this area is littered with scrapes, so we picked one out. Last thing to do is we're going to hang the tink stripper and see if we can't catch what's coming through on our stealth cam. It was because you didn't shower yesterday?
I showered yesterday, twice. All right, this is day one of Jen and I's deer hunting vacation. We are basically in the bedding area, a bunch of big cottonwoods and willows, and the deer in the hayfields right now. We drove by a shooter buck on the way in, so hopefully he'll make his way over here. Forgot my rattling antlers in the middle of the rut. That's a good idea. But anyway, I know deer use it, so the wind is good. I don't really care. We're all tent locked up, so I'm gonna sit here for a little bit and see what happens. We already saw one mule deer go through. Can't shoot mule deer, but hopefully it's gonna be a good morning. November 5th, Bowhunt or Die. Well, I think we're going to call it quits for morning number one. I don't know what happened. There was not a lot of deer in here. There's usually like 30 or 40 that bed in here, but there's 2 bucks over here bedded about, they're 125 yards, but they've been bedded since, I don't know, 7:30, somewhere around there. pretty cool encounter. Really nice buck, kind of a non-typical, real heavy 4-year-old at least. Kind of messed around for inside of 50 yards for about 25 minutes, but never would step out. There's a couple other bucks in the area, and he was entertained by them or occupied, I guess. So it is day 3, November the 7th, which is actually the day I've killed my biggest whitetail yet. And I think my dad's killed a bunch of bucks on the 7th. I know lots of guys, and 7's a good number. So maybe today it will pan out for us. Well, that certainly happened quickly. Anyway, that's a good start. We just need a little bit bigger buck to do the same exact thing. Alright, well, we are back in the tree for night number 3. We've seen bucks every morning, had bucks in range, and every evening, I guess. This is kind of one of those push and pray situations. We're on the edge of the alfalfa field. So what we did is we drove in and pushed all these deer out. They come back every night. So we pushed them so we could get set up, drove the truck out, and then I hauled buck back across the field. So hopefully these deer are going to start filtering in. We've got a southeast wind, so it's kind of blowing back behind us. We got a tank scent bomb down here, so hopefully if a buck does show up, he catches that before there's deer crossing the river, right? And deer behind us, so hopefully our push and pray method's working here. Anyway, stick with us. Bow hunt or die. We got lots of tags to fill, and I got an itchy trigger finger or thumb. We've had a whole bunch of deer show up. Lots of deer in range. But same story, just waiting on the right one. But at least we didn't get bored. We still got another, probably 40 minutes. Hopefully the red buck shows up. I know there's several here. We've gotten trail camera pictures of like 3 or 4 different shooters in this spot. And we saw one buck this afternoon that was for sure a shooter. I actually think it was the same deer that we had last night playing games with us, so we'll see what happens. Can't believe I just did that. I shaved a bunch of white belly hair right under exactly where I wanted. I knew the yardage. I guess in the heat of the moment, he stepped back to my 40-yard mark, and I put my 40-yard ballpark mark right here, knowing he was like 36. And perfect. I mean, I just had the wrong elevation. That's a bummer, but I guess that's part of it. Pretty cool encounter anyway. Sorry, Jen. Alright, well, it's the morning of November 8th, and I shot that deer last night. Originally, I thought I just shaved the belly hair off of him. But after I got out there and looked at the hair, there was a bunch of blood. And as I glassed him as he went into the hayfield, you could tell that he had a little, like a gash right there. And he was breathing really heavy. I could see the steam coming out of his nose. So we glassed him, and he laid down, and he'd stand up and then bed back down. He was hurting pretty bad. He was he was breathing really hard. There was lots of steam around him, putting off a lot of heat. So went out and looked at the blood. There was good blood right at impact. The arrow doesn't have much to show for sign. There's a little bit of fat and meat and a few spots of blood down the shaft, but that's really about it. So anyway, he bedded down in the hayfield. We watched him for another 30-35 minutes until it was pitch black. We were able to sneak out all the way around the edge of the alfalfa back to the truck. So it's one of those deals where you hope that he just laid down and died out there. The good news was he tried to go, tried to walk several times and couldn't do it. And he's, a couple, 200-300 yards from the edge of the field. So in the condition he was in last night, that's a long way. But anyway, we're headed back out. Hopefully he's in the hayfield. I did bring a firearm. It is legal. And to me, that's kind of the most ethical thing that I can do at this point. If that deer's still alive, I will put him down with the gun. So hopefully we don't have to do that. Hopefully he expired last night. But we're going to cruise on down the road, and we'll see you shortly. This is where he was bedded last night. A ton of blood, more beds all over. This is where he was laying down and couldn't go anywhere.
Going left and right.
Well, we've been out here for an hour. We followed blood in the field because there's so much river bottom and I don't have a clue where to start. I mean, you'd think a deer that's hit like that would go to water. It's a likely possibility, but so we lost blood over there, and then we just found a blood trail here. We don't know if it's going that way or this way, so we're gonna follow it out to each end and see what happens. I don't know. I'm guessing he came from over there this way and out, but we'll keep looking.
Another bedding area. Let's move in. Alright, so what happened was we were searching through these willows here. We lost the blood trail. We found a ton of beds, and we split off. Dustin went right, I went left, and I was in the shore, he was in the willows, and all of a sudden I hear a bunch of crashing around, and Dustin spooked him, and if we don't have a weapon, we don't have our bow or his rifle with us, so I have one job, and that's to keep eyes on the deer. It's a very, very stressful job. So Dustin snuck out. We're on basically an island. The river splits us on two sides, so Dustin's gonna get out, come back up on the other side of the river, hopefully he'll get a good shot and he'll go home smiling today. So, bow hunt or die. We've been at this for about 4 hours. He might be bringing a bow and a rifle to this party. We're not going home empty-handed today.
Well, here he is. It's been a fun 3 or 4 days. Last night was a little sleepless, but I think it turned out all right. I think we've had a good time.
We had a good time.
We've seen a lot of bucks, passed on several. Had one that we liked, but he never really wanted to play. So, but I'm super happy with this deer. I mean, you know, Wyoming's not a giant whitetail state, so, you know, to kill a deer like this is pretty cool. To have Jen doing the filming, pretty exciting. Yeah.
Pretty good.
So.
No, we had a good time.
Yeah, I think we hunted hard 3 mornings, 3 evenings.
Yep.
Saw deer all the time, but now it's Jen's turn.
Oh, I don't know if we have enough time today.
Oh, I think we probably do. No, but cool buck. I mean, very, very pleased. No, I think he's at least 3. He's probably 4. I have to look at the teeth later, but it doesn't matter. He's mine now. So anyway, we are gonna get some photos and get this guy back to the truck, and we'll be back in the tree stand somewhere tonight. So bow hunt or die.
Well, one thing's for certain. I think I may just have to start heading out to Wyoming a little bit more. I mean, seeing that one field with that one shot with those 30, 40 deer, I mean, that is any bow hunter's dream, to be sitting in a stand. I don't care what kind of action you got going underneath you. When you can look out and see that many deer, now that gets me pumped up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When I was out mule deer hunting with Dustin earlier this year, you know, we hunted whitetails for a couple evenings in those same hay fields. And unfortunately, just because of the length of my hunt, we weren't really able to show a lot of that footage. But I mean, there was nights, there was 80 or 100 deer out in those fields, which is pretty amazing to see. But, you know, just talking about Dustin's hunt, I mean, gosh, you know, the shot, obviously, guys, you know, super low. I know I talked to Dustin, and that deer was a little spooky, so he was, you know, anticipating that deer to drop, and he didn't move a muscle.
No.
And, you know, it hit him low, and to me and to probably everybody watching out there, it looked like, you know, that deer wasn't going to die. I mean, it looked like a flesh wound, you know, took some white hair off of his belly, but, you know, fortunately for Dustin, you know, he got just enough up into that deer to you know, open him up and get him bleeding pretty good, and he was able to track him down the next day and get a shot at him. It's not, you know, the optimal scenario. It's not the way we all picture it in our heads, you know, but, you know, kudos to Dustin and Jen for sticking with it and following the blood trail and being able to make a follow-up shot that next day.
Well, and Justin, I mean, it just goes to say, I mean, it's persistence. You know what, when we talk about it all the time on the show, you know what, the real hunt begins once that arrow flies. And as bow hunters, I mean, as much effort as you put into your hunts, I mean, after that arrow flies, you're gonna have to spend, sometimes it happens, these deer are strong. He did the right thing, he backed out, but they stayed on it. You know, it got to a point where, you know what, he did put his bow away, and it was just like, Jen, let's go. We're just gonna start doing grid searches. And you know what? Sure enough, water, thickets, they found it, and persistence, that's all I can say.
Filled his tag at the end of the day, and like I said, he just shot another great buck here in Illinois. Actually, last night, you'll be seeing on an upcoming episode. So guys, next up, we're gonna check in with Josh Sturgill. We haven't seen much from Josh this year. I know he's been having a tough year, but fortunately, he had some great encounters down at one of his leases, so let's check those out now.
We're on our way to Logan County, West Virginia. We've had a rough season, to say it mildly. I haven't even seen a deer in the woods yet. This will be our second trip to West Virginia. Prior trip, weather just didn't work out. We got a lot of rain and a lot of fronts moved through and just didn't see any deer activity. We're getting different reports from West Virginia and other places that we hunt that the activity's kind of spotty. Some people say that the deer are on fire, they're chasing. Other people I talk to say there's no activity at all. There's not a lot of scrapes or rubs on the ground, so it's kind of confusing what we're hearing. So we just decided to pack everything up, come on in. We're going to take the rest of this week off and all next week and just lay in these tree stands, see where the deer are at and what we need to do, and do whatever we got to do to get a big buck down on the ground. Well, it's dark out here tonight. We made it back to the Ranger where our stands are. We don't have cell phone service, but we made it back to where we had some cell phone service in the Ranger. My phone started going off, emails started coming in. We've had a couple situations at work that I'm gonna have to handle. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to head out of the woods. We've seen some good deer. We've had a great time here in West Virginia, and hopefully we can come back later on in the year and do some more hunting. So we're excited about it, and just wish it had turned out different. But we're gonna have to get on the road and head back to Knoxville and get some work done. Bowhunter die. Well, it's Saturday, November 28th. Thanksgiving's done. I've eaten way too much. We got all the Christmas lights up and Christmas trees in, so we're ready to go. So I've done all my honeydews. Now I'm getting ready to leave and head to southeastern Arkansas. It's about a 7.5, 8-hour trip here from Knoxville, Tennessee. I've got a business meeting in the morning that we're going to do in Tunica, Mississippi, and then I'm going to head on to camp, and hopefully we'll get some good hunting done. Chance for boars there, wild boars. There's nice deer, so we're excited about our possibilities with a bow, and hopefully we'll have a great hunt. Bowhunter die. It's our first morning hunt, second day of our hunt. We hunted last night, saw a ton of deer, which is great, so we got high hopes for today. We're set up today on a blind that we set up yesterday in the rain. The weather's calmed down, it's kind of overcast. We're ready to go. We've got this blind camoed in, it looks great. We're right on a little edge of a food plot here, where in the past we've seen a ton of deer that come through. So we're hoping that this is going to turn out good and we're going to have a great hunt today.
Well, we just had a really good 8-pointer come in here. We've been in this blind all day. We've seen a ton of deer activity. I mean, it has just been buck after buck, small buck after doe after small buck. They've been on it in the thicket. They've been in the field. It's just been amazing. We had a beautiful 8-pointer come in about an hour before dark, just a few minutes ago. We put a shot on it. Looks like a good shot from what I could tell. We looked at the footage real quick before, and it looked like it was good. It's a little bit further forward than I would like, but it looks like an outstanding shot. So I'm just tickled to death. I just praise God for it. But that was an awesome deer, awesome shot, and just an awesome hunt. So we're gonna give it a few minutes, and we're gonna get out, and I'm gonna go out and check some blood and see what I can see. But it should be good. Bow hunter die. Well, we went out and we checked the blood. We had good blood. Looks like we only got 8 inches of penetration on the arrow. I'm not exactly sure what happened. We'll have to go home and look at it on the computer and see what we can tell. But we followed the blood. It was good blood going back from the food plot into the woods. When we got over to the edge of the woods, we heard it crash over there. We heard it get up and move. So we had tracked it in a little bit. So we're just going to back off. We're going to get out of here. We're going to get home, and we're going to give it till in the morning and see how it goes. Bow hunter die. Well, we're back at the scene of the crime, and I'm telling you, I've been waiting all night to get here. I'm just glad to be here. We're going to go try to find this deer. When I shot him, he was out in the field, and he ran all the way around and actually ended up back here on the edge of the woods. And we followed the blood in. We actually marked the last place we saw blood, and so we're going to head over that direction and start following him down. Hopefully we'll find him. Bow hunter die. Well, fortunately, we trailed that deer 200-300 yards through the woods along the river bottom, and the blood has quit. Can't find any more sign, so I don't know. We're gonna go back and talk about it, but my guess is I didn't get a good shot on him, and didn't hit the vitals I needed to. So, fortunately, it happens with bow hunting. I just hate when it happens. So, bow hunter die. Well, what do you do? My heart is just killing me. You know, I had a beautiful buck that came into this food plot last night. Thought I put a good shot on it. Thought after we reviewed it, we didn't get real good penetration. It must have been the way that it dropped and jerked. Thought I had a great shot. We figured we would find it this morning. We trailed it for 300 yards. Blood finally stopped, and then we searched in a grid pattern. Nothing. Couldn't find any more blood. Couldn't find a deer. Couldn't find any more sign. So I just pray that it was okay. It lives. That it'll be all right. I hate wounding animals. I don't like it. It's not a fun part of this, but it's something that happens if you do it long enough. I've just been blessed it hadn't happened in a while, but now I remember exactly how this feels when it does, and it's just miserable. But we're going to sit on the same food plot. We're going to see what happens tonight, and we'll just see what happens. Bow hunter die. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so torn up. I got so torn up, I forgot to move the camera over, and the buck's head was out of the frame. I don't even, praise God, that was just redemption. After having that shot last night, to have that huge monster of a buck come in, I don't even know what to say. Unbelievable. That was an unbelievable buck. It was a good shot. I know for a fact it was a good shot. I saw him run off. He was gushing blood as he ran out of the field. I'm absolutely torn up. but praise God, that's an outstanding buck. That was a big buck, and what do you do? Well, it's the second time we've done this in 2 days, but we looked at this one. This is a double lung shot, and I just can't control myself. I'm just pumped. We went over here. The blood goes right in here into the woods. Problem is the Mississippi River's coming up, and our entrance in and out is getting ready to be flooded out, so we're going to have to hurry up and get this deer out. So we're going to film. We're going to walk through here and follow this blood, see where he's at, and try to get him out here as quickly as possible. Bowhunter die. Well, we found him. He was about 80 yards through the thicket and ran out the other side, almost all the way next to the road. So we followed him out, got him out to the road. We just didn't have a whole lot of time to film the actual recovery because it's getting dark and the river's coming up, and so we got a finite amount of time before we get out of here. We'll film some, just kind of show you the water coming up and that sort of thing, but we're going to go ahead and get over here and get him out.
I know this is hard to see, but there's just an unbelievable blood trail through here. That NAP kill zone just did an unbelievable job. And then up here you can see, and we'll move up there, you can see where he laid and where he finally came to rest. Well, that was his final resting place. That's where he ended up. And you can see from the blood, the NAP kill zone did an outstanding job. And I'm glad to be loading him in the back of the Ranger.
Well, we found him. He was, like I said, he was only 60 yards in this thicket. He bled unbelievable the whole way. Left us a great trail to follow, and he was just about 60, 70 yards out. And so he's 30 yards from the road, so we're able to drag him right to the road, and we're going to load him up, and we're going to try to get across this water that's coming up. We'll film that a little bit just so you can kind of see what we got to deal with here. It's a hard place to hunt, but it's worth it. You get a buck like this, it's just an unbelievable day, especially after missing them or hitting the one and not being able to find it yesterday and this morning. To finish it up like this today is just an unbelievable week. So I thank God for it, and just Bowhunter die.
Man, Justin, I mean, Josh has been hunting 3 different states. I mean, between Tennessee, West Virginia, and Arkansas. I mean, this guy has definitely been putting the miles on, and he started the season off a little bit slow. I mean, I started to notice a little bit of disappointment in some of the phone calls I was getting, but with them being, further south than we are, clearly the rut's a little bit later and things started heating up for him, and boy, he sure had some action. Now, of course, these are 2 different hunts that, we're showcasing here. The first hunt, Justin, you had a chance to really watch that video in slow motion. Unfortunately, I have not. But, I mean, it looks like to me that arrow just did not get a lot of penetration.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's no question about it. I mean, to me, it looks like, he just caught maybe the back of this leg bone right here. I mean, as that deer kind of moves and turns, when that arrow, hits the deer, it stops. And when you see it in slow motion, you actually see the arrow stop and turn darn near, the fletchings come up by the deer's face as he runs off, and to me that would just indicate he hit some sort of bone. I mean, they never found that deer. They had sparse blood for a couple hundred yards and it ran out, which is, pretty indicative of a deer that's probably not mortally wounded. They didn't find any beds or anything like that. So ultimately, Josh just, got back after it, and the next day was able to capitalize and make a perfect shot on another great buck.
Well, and one more thing too, Justin, about that particular deer. I mean, that spot that they're hunting too, and I'm gonna get on Josh a little bit for this, because he didn't really show us this, but the spot that he is hunting, I mean, they are right on the Mississippi. I mean, it is very unique terrain, and I mean, at any given time, I mean, there are little islands out there, and it's hard. I mean, it's hard to check and look and search for everything. I mean, I wish I would have saw a little bit more of that footage, but it is a really neat spot that he's hunting down there.
But I mean, I guess moving on to the deer that he did shoot, Josh did a great job. They've got the Heartland Wildlife food plots, and obviously they're working for him down there. Those deer were hammering the food plots. He makes a great, double lung shot. That's the picture perfect kind of shot you want to make. You hope the deer's head is in the frame next time. But I can't give Josh too much, grief. The last deer I shot, you couldn't even see the thing. It was standing behind a tree. So he did better than me. It was a great buck, and I know Josh was super excited to finally put his tag on a deer after, as Todd said, hunting 3 different states. So congratulations to Josh. Anything else you want to say?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's owning a piece of property that does flood and kind of learning more about the way water works. I mean, he literally, I mean, you can tell a little bit by watching the footage. I mean, they are in a rush. I mean, they literally are in a position where that river is coming up and coming up quick. If they don't get out of there, I mean, they could literally be trapped in there. I mean, it's amazing. So, hats off to Josh. It was some great hunting, great action, and I don't know, Justin. I think it's time that we're going to definitely have to start heading some south. We're going to have to go south with Josh.
Fair enough. So next up, guys, we're going to check in with Tim Conley. Speaking of south, at least south of us anyways. He's down in southern Indiana, and he finally harvested his first deer of the year, so let's check it out.
It's November 22nd. It's dropped down to about 20 degrees this morning. Pretty crunchy getting in here this morning. But I didn't hear any deer spook out. They got spooked out before I heard them, I guess, as crunchy as it was. Seems pretty still right where I'm at, tucked in behind the hill. But my breath's drifting off up kind of to the east, southeast, into that bedding area. So if I can catch these deer coming through, maybe we'll need a little bit of soybeans or something before they go to bedding area. I'll be sitting in a good spot. About that. Trophy doe down. She come right out here in front, but she got wise to me. She skirted back around, and I shot her about 30 yards. She tried to get through the fence. Couldn't make it. Whipped up on top of the hill. She's laying up there. I'm shaking all over the place. It's cold. But that feeling
never gets old. It's a nice downhill drag. I'm gonna go down, drag her right down in front of the stand, just in case a big buck wants to be following her later on. Well, it was a cold morning here in Indiana. It was about 20 degrees when I headed out. It probably dropped just a little lower than that when the sun come up. It's only 21 degrees right now, about 10:30, 11 o'clock. I shot this doe probably between 8 and 8:30 this morning. She come out of this bedding area, was heading out toward these forage soybeans, gonna get a little bite to eat before she bedded. And anyway, she got out here just 10 yards under my stand. Kind of got a little wise to me. Spooked off a little bit, stood out there at 20, but had some brush in the way. Finally, she took off back toward that bedding area, and I was able to shoot her out there about 30 yards. So it was time to put one down, let the bucks chase these around during the main rut a little bit, and I always hate to shoot a doe early, but big old Indiana long nose here. I don't know what this doe weigh, but she's a dandy. So gonna get out of here and get her cleaned up, and next time you see me out in the stand, I'll be after a buck. Bow hunt or die.
Well, Todd, it's nice to see, Tim Conley with all of his fancy camera work out there. Had a little case of the JZs where he was super zoomed out and the deer was standing behind a tree or behind a limb. So he couldn't see a whole lot when he shot that deer, but obviously he made a perfect shot. The deer didn't run very far, fell down. I mean, there's nothing better than that as a bow hunter. But next time, maybe we'll get some better footage.
Well, I am going to give him credit for rigging up that killer system above his head doing the 360
Yeah, but that's
spin.
all just for show. We want to see the money shot. We want to see when that arrow hits the deer. That's what everyone out there wants to see.
Tim,
that's
I tried to save you.
the most important shot to get on film for a person that's self-filming. And sometimes I feel like we do focus so much more on these second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th angles and automated arms and everything. And let's face it, the thing that really matters is hitting that zoom button. Getting in there.
Well,
I'm just as guilty as anybody else, so believe me, I know it's a hard thing to do, and I've had my fair share of trials and tribulations out there.
I'm glad I'm tagged out, so I have no more fear that anything's going to happen to me this year.
Congratulations to Tim for harvesting a great deer on film down there in Indiana. It's been a rough season for him. I mean, that guy has hunted hard.
Oh yeah, many hours.
I think he posts selfies on Facebook every single day he's out hunting, and there's been a lot of them this fall. So I feel for him. I've been there before. It does feel good to get your hands bloody and get your tag on a deer. So congratulations to Tim, guys. That's all the hunting action we've got for this week. So next up, like always, we want to thank the people who sent in their trophy photos. Jesse Contras,
John Casella,
Lauren Brown,
Nate School,
Ryan Luganbull,
Sean Brady. Hey guys, those are some great photos. If you want to see yourself right here on an episode of Bow Hunt or Die, you got to submit the photo in order to be here. Now, with that being said, I know I've been getting some emails here late in the season. Hey, I haven't seen my photo yet. Remember, guys?
That's because they forgot the PayPal money.
I know, the PayPal money.
You guys want to see your photos, you got to send the money, man. Justin at bowhunting.com.
Oh, nice, real nice. Justin's got a secret bowhunting.com PayPal account. But listen, guys, if you send us in a gun shot, this is a bow hunting show. So you're out, unfortunately. I'm sure it's a great animal, and I'm sure we've taken the time to look at him, but you gotta
no gunshots.
No gunshots. No gunshots.
So guys, as Todd said, we're winding things down here. Just want to let you guys all know that there will not be a show next week. We will be at the ATA show down in Louisville starting early part of next week. So for you guys that are interested in all the new gear, all the new products that are coming out, make sure you tune into bowhunting.com. You know, we're going to be updating you guys live from the show. We've got blogs, photo galleries. Check out our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We'll be covering all of those. We're going to attempt to do some live streaming, depending on how good our internet connection is once we get down there, but we're going to try to do some live streaming, you know, from the show floor to kind of keep you guys updated on what's going on. So make sure you keep an eye on bowhunting.com next week. There's a lot of great content that's getting ready to come your way.
Which is why we got the haircuts for next week.
We got to look professional.
We got to be professional.
So,
clean
guys,
up,
that's all the action we've got for this week. If you still have a tag and your seasons are open, get out there. We've got cold temperatures. The deer are pounding the food sources right now. There's still time. You guys can fill your tag. Todd and I, we're done. We're tagged out.
Well, and hey, and he just said that, which means he owes me $100.
No, I'm not officially done yet.
Oh, whoa! You just said we're done.
Well, if you weren't making us work on New Year's Eve, Graf, I could go hunt this afternoon.
There we go.
But
It's not even New Year's Eve.
As far as I know, it is. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you right here in 2 weeks on Bowhunt or Die.
For more exciting action, be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and receive live updates from our team members, as well as the latest happenings in the bow hunting and archery world. Be sure to share your photos, stories, and experiences as well. And don't forget to pick up your official bowhunting.com and Bowhunt or Die gear by visiting bowhunting.com/gear. We have a full selection of hats, shirts, decals, wristbands, and much more.
I'm about to leave you.
No, that's good.
You're horrible. I'm gonna stab myself in the ear with a shed antler.